Hello everyone, welcome back to Chickemo. I'm Charles, and here at Chickemo we're going to bring you stories about families, and things that affect families. So today, just heard the news that the Fed increased the interest rate a half a point. And that's going to affect every family in the country. So I just want to talk about that a little bit, and for now we will go back in history and talk about what's happened to the economy up to this point. And it'll be just a brief overview. So after the Second World War, the United States won the war, and as a result of that, our economy needed some help. So the dollar became the number one currency around the world. It was valued very highly, and so, the United States had a currency that everybody wanted. So fast forward up through the 40s, the economy was booming, and there was a lot of prosperity. People were getting educated, going to college, getting good jobs, and the government was spending a lot of money on lots of different things: defense, infrastructure, the economy. But what started to happen was the government started to spend more money than they were taking in. The revenue that the IRS was collecting for the government was not enough for what the government was spending. So the countries that were holding US dollars said, hey, we have this promise to pay from you, so we want our money. And the government found out pretty quickly that the dollar value was starting to go down. The dollar in the past was backed by US gold, by the gold market. And the government found out that, hey, we don't have enough gold to pay all our creditors that are holding dollars. So we had better do something quick to remedy this problem. So Richard Nixon decided, I don't know why he thought this was a great idea, probably because he was listening to his financial advisors, economic advisors that supposedly were very smart, and advised him that this was something that we should do. But if you go back in history, you'll see that every country that did this failed. So the president decided, we'll just take our company off the gold standard, and the dollar won't be linked to gold any further. And when they did that, as a result, since the government did not have the dollar linked to gold anymore, the government just started printing money left and right. And any economic teacher can tell you that whenever you increase the supply of anything, whether it's dollars or cars or houses or cats or dogs, anytime you increase the supply of anything, that particular item becomes less valuable because everybody's got it. If everybody had a dog, then dogs wouldn't be that valuable. But if almost nobody had a dog and everybody wanted a dog, then every dog that you see would have a very high price. It would be very valuable. Same thing with US dollars. So since the government was printing all this money, the value of the dollar started to go down. And since that time, the value of the dollar pretty much has been going down since the president took us off the gold standard. So here we are today. I just heard on the news that the Fed raised the interest rate a half a point, which the stock market's not going to like. It may have it baked in, but the stock market's not going to like that, because as a result of that, borrowing is going to be a lot more difficult. Mortgage rates are going to be higher. It's going to affect the economy. The idea is to slow down the economy because the economy is going too fast. So the Fed decided that at this point in time, we're going to raise the interest rates a half a point. And they warned us about this prior to this, that they were going to do that. And so here we are. They have. So now everybody's bracing to see, how is this going to affect jobs? How is this going to affect the stock market? How is it going to affect all our investments, real estate, everything? And, everybody knows what the effect will be, because it'll be more difficult to do business. Businesses will not want to borrow as much money because it'll become more expensive. And businesses are already have razor thin margins, and to borrow money at a higher interest rate, they won't want to do it, because they'll be looking at how much of a return am I going to get on that money that I had to borrow now. And when they calculate that out, if it's thin or non-existent or negative, they're not going to do it. So it's going to affect everything. So what are we going to do at this point in time? The Fed has a double-edged sword at their neck. They decided that we would raise interest rates because that would slow down inflation. They tried it the other way 2 years ago when things started to shut down because of COVID, that they would lower interest rates because things were drying up and people needed money, and we needed to save the stock market. So they lowered interest rates to stimulate the economy, to save the stock market from disaster. And for some time now, it has worked, depending on your perspective. But now it's not working so well, because when you create too much stimulus, now you have a lot of cash flowing around, and what usually happens is that flows into the stock market, and the stock market goes up, and you have a lot of dollars being spent, but we're not producing as much as we did before. And because we're not producing as much as we did before, we have a lot of dollars that are seeking to buy product that we don't have, and is not being manufactured, is not being made. And they're sort of blaming it on, we have this, shortage of everything that we get from other countries and around the world. Well, not necessarily. We have this shortage because we're not manufacturing anything. So if you have a lot of dollars searching for items and goods, when we used to manufacture a lot of goods, and now you have dollars that are searching for those goods and they're not there anymore, okay, so of course you're going to have a shortage. So now we're in this problem, this sinking boat, where we are raising interest rates to hopefully slow down the economy and make things a little bit better. But the other side of the double-edged sword is that because we've raised interest rates now, that's going to cause a lot more inflation, and we're inflating the value of the dollar. That's a problem. The other side of the coin is that when we lowered interest rates, that caused the economy to speed up, and we weren't producing any goods, but there was a lot of money around. So that caused a lot more inflation. So it's a matter of, well, what do you want? You want to raise interest, you want to lower interest rates to get the economy going? And when that starts to be a problem, then you have to raise interest rates to try and slow down the economy. So you have this problem, we raise interest rates for this reason, we lower it for another reason, and it's a delicate balance that you have to try and deal with. Now, we have some of the smartest minds in the country, supposedly, that are handling this for us. As a consumer, we depend on them to make good decisions. But as you can see, time and time again, starting back, 50 years ago, that we haven't made very good decisions. And those decisions have been affecting us ever since. We know based on history that every country that has done what we are attempting to do has failed. Before us, the currency that was a main currency in the world was from England. And before that, it was the Dutch. And each one of those countries went through the same cycle of spending a lot of money and printing a lot of money in order to pay for their expenses, their war machines, their economy. They all tried it, and they all failed miserably. So here we are. It's our turn. And hopefully, we were, as a consumer, we were hopefully thinking that our people would be smarter, that they wouldn't fall into the same trap. But apparently, they are beginning to fall into the same trap and take us along with them. So, what are we going to do? I found out that one of the best things to do is for us to educate ourselves, to understand the economy and what policy does and how it affects the economy. And if you educate yourself, you have a better chance and you have a better idea of what to do to help your family, to protect your family, to help your kids, your children, and to protect your children, and also to teach your children the knowledge that they need and the knowledge that they were not taught in school that will help them financially to make good decisions. Now, I have been in school for 20 years, high school, I went high school, college, I graduated from college, I went on to graduate school, I got a master's degree, and I can tell you, and my master's degree is in finance, and I've worked in the financial field for over 30 years. And I found that a lot of the things that are happening were not taught in school. And even today, they're still not taught in school. So the big question I always have been pondering and asking myself is why? Why don't they teach this in school? Why don't they want our consumers to know what to do when there's a financial crisis? And the only thing that I can think of that sort of fits the answer is because it pays. It pays the government if you have a certain part of the population that's ignorant. If you have a certain part of the population that doesn't understand economics, that doesn't understand what the government is doing or what the government is saying or restating when they make policy. If you don't understand, you just bypass it and you change the channel to something that you want to watch. Because if you're watching, a financial channel and they're saying something that you don't understand, you're not going to stay on that channel very long. You're not going to listen to the guy. However, if you're educated and you understand economics better and you understand the way finances work and the federal government works better, then you can take the right steps to help yourself and your family and your children build wealth. So here at Chickemo, I bring you information and stories about family and things that matter to your family. And hopefully the information that I pass on to you will help you. I know it has helped me and still is helping me. So I wish to pass this information on to help you. So welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. It helps me build my channel. And we'll see you in the next one.